Grand Rising. I'm gonna just say this, because I'm gonna start off with this, because I see a lot of world history of sellouts. Because I don't care how people want to twist it. Just living and seeing certain things, it'll never be how you want it to be in this world. And I watch black people sign up for this evil nonsense, and some people will say they think it's good that we fight each other. I watch simple things where I watch certain black people act like they're bad, and what I mean by bad, they act like they're tough. And what I mean by act like they're tough, right, that they will put up a fake force. But whether it's a male or female, and don't get me mistaken, because I don't hit females. If I'm talking like this, I'm talking if a female would hit a female for talking, or I'm talking about if a male, bless up, brother, bless up, bless up. God bless. I'm talking about if a brother is talking to another brother, slick, and he know he's not built like that, and you slap him down. See, some people think it's okay, right, for some black people to be walking around and acting like they're bad. Me, I tell people, man, like I don't care how anybody take this. That shit look weak. You look soft. I don't believe you. And it makes me look at you even more funnier, because I see so much dudes, right? Because I could say the girls too, but I'm going to say the dudes. I see the dudes be acting like they bad, and like, for real, you ain't built like that, okay? Because y'all be thinking that because a man killed somebody, or a man sold drugs, that he's tough, that he's something. I'm going to just be honest, and I'm going to say this. When you don't know nothing or value in this world, it's easy for you to take a human life. Okay? And it's nothing for you to take a human life. You don't care. I be watching a lot of people talk about the hood or the ghetto or the gully or wherever they from, and I'm going to say this. Many of the stories will continue to go on, because people get offended when I say this, but I don't care. Many black people in the so-called communities that we like to call the ghetto or the hood or whatever, many people ain't learned nothing yet. Okay? I'm not with the nonsense of black people acting like they bad, or anybody acting like they bad and you don't have sense. Because if you was with sensibility and having sense, you wouldn't act. You wouldn't put up a fake bravado. Like, to me it's nasty, and I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, things will get better. No. Things are not going to get better when you hold a fake energy and when you portray a fakeness. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah. And some people would just act bad for no reason. Excuse me for that. Okay. Grand Rising King. What you do or how you move don't make you dangerous. It's the mind that does that, depending on how you think and go about what you plan on doing. God bless Rastafari, for real. No, but it's just like, for example, if I build upon what you're saying and like add upon what you're saying, some dudes and females will act like they bad just because they from Compton, California. No. And what I mean by like that, as I always say, this world needs to be made over and it needs to be changed. It needs a Jenny Jones and a Ricky Lake makeover, because you could take many different things as white, for example. Some people, soon as they hear white, they'll think about Caucasian people. They'll think about, see, some people think different with different things. There's many viewpoints. Some people will think evil when they hear white. Some people will think of good, so like black. Some people will think of good, Everybody has their different feelings about something, but it's the truth about everything in the real reality of life. Like plants, like the water, like many different things in this world where the common human thought they was taught, but they was taught wrong. And for you to think that these people would ever teach you correctly, no, they wouldn't. But to teach you wrong and make you keep on struggling and finding something that you may never find, they will have you doing that all the time. And some people, I don't like the thing of, I'm going to say, where some black people will say, because I'm sticking on black people right now, okay? I'm sticking on this, because one thing that I don't like is when black people are scared, okay? You act like you tough, but trust me, a lot of that tough street stuff, all of that, I'm a gangster or I'm a gangstress, I'm a kingpin, I'm a girl, it's a lot of scaredness, okay? It's a lot of scaredness. And I'm not going to say what I have to say of what's really in the scaredness, but those who know, they know why a lot of black people are scared, okay? And it ain't nothing big. It ain't nothing big, because you don't want to call yourself gangsters, right? Real gangsters, last time I checked, they own islands, countries, they make laws, whole bunch of different things. Hold on 1 minute. Excuse me for that. Okay, let me see. Toughness is an illusion, and most rappers know about that. Many of them even admit they ain't about that life they be rapping about. Well, I will keep that for another live too, cause I remember the first time I was ever supposed to come on this YouTube. I actually wanted to expose a lot of those so-called rappers and a lot of the fake people in this music industry, because what they portray, oh trust me, a lot of them personally is weak, you know. Now I just don't like the nonsense of some people portraying something that is not real, and I wouldn't even get up on that too, but I'm talking about of this world that we live in, of even, melanated people. You was strict, and some people don't look at the trick, or some people probably don't care about the trick. I do, because it's manipulation. It's trickery, but they'll make you think that it's all Little House on the Prairie is nice. Like, nah, I see through nonsense. I just don't really like people nonsense. Because there's always something. It's just like I told my brother the other day. If you don't really trust nobody in this world and you see people give you something for free, there's always something behind that freeness, There's always motives behind what they gave you for free. There's always something behind the scenes, so don't take it, Don't take it. Whatever you gotta get for yourself, you get for yourself. You leave the world with their chaos. And the thing is, some people will grab you into their chaos. They'll grab you into their chaos. I'm trying to remember the person that said this of, hold on, I'm trying to remember the elder that said, I will paraphrase it, that the devil doesn't go after his own. I forgot the elder, and I forgot where I seen it at and heard it. But it's true, Satan will never go after his own. Never. Whatever you want to call Lucifer, Babylon, they all work together. They all in the same, it's all in the same pool. And the sad thing about it is it's going to keep on going on, like, whether you melanated or black or whatever you want to call it, and people don't believe in Babylon's system, it's okay. You ain't got to believe, you'll just see it. A man doesn't tell another man what he is. He shows who he is and what he's about. Same for our ladies out there. And that's how it is, you don't how could I say? With the energy out of your breath, and the vibration, that is, that is a form of communication. But movements of in your life and yourself, that's real. And you can't duplicate that. You can't duplicate that. Same when somebody say they got you, they bullshitting. And that's the point, I heard a million people. I'm over exaggerating with that word, using a million people, but I'm just using it. But I will say, I heard a whole bunch of people say they got me, but then at the end of the day, you got yourself. You got your back. The devil doesn't come dressed up in a red cape and pointy horns. He comes as everything you've ever wished for. And I'll build upon that too. Like will bring your greatest desires, all that you, as the brother just said, all that you wish for, he will give you, and you will think that you're evolving, you're entering into something good, but if you don't know thyself, thyself would always give thyself away to a rotten, evil entity. But if you know yourself, don't matter what they have in this universe, it will never stray you away. So that's why, like, when people talk about God, when you know God, man, trust me, yo, ain't no temptation, okay? Ain't no temptation that Babylon system could do, cause like I always tell people, if we on the left, we could never be on the right, okay? I was made on the left for a reason, and they must stay where they at for a reason. You was born to do what you was born to do, and I was born to do what I'm born to do. Okay? It ain't no joining their forces. It's always separate from them. What's the nonsense they say? If you can't beat them, join them? No. I'm not joining my enemy. Okay? Never. Because they was born to do the destruction to the world, and I was born to bring care and creation to the world. Ain't no wish worth making. Dignity over dollars all day. Yeah. They must be forgetting before all these paper money and coins was made. How they say your word was your bond? Your words carry more worth than any money in this world. But in this fake world, where them love for lie, they will think that money is worth more than solid words. And that's why a lot of you, your skin is gonna burn. Your soul gonna burn. Because they done took upon the negative things in this world and thought it was good. And then the thing is, right, some of them smile and laugh and actually think that they enjoy in life. Go ahead. Yep, if you can't beat them, join them. And if you say you affiliated, you and rocking with them, you are them. Now I ain't gonna join my enemy. You're my enemy for a reason, and I am yours for a reason. Why should I? I'm never gonna pick up that flag and join you. Just like they ain't gonna pick up and join me. No, why should I join them? Stay on your side. Ride for who you ride for. The evil spirits. The evil corporations. It's all good, no problem, man. It's all gravy, no problem. People ride for, and sometimes I don't say it that much, but Babylon system create everything to make you would want to feel bad when you ain't even bad. But they'll put things of creating systems in your mind, and once it come in your mind, you move with that from what's in your mind into your life. And trust me, once you get into the mind and it get into your life, it's trouble. It's trouble. Because you have some people in this world that certain things hit their mental, right? And they just go. But they don't know how their physical is moving. I remember when I used to work overnight. And I remember the first 2 years, my body was tired, but my mind was still keep going. And I'm just there listening to some reggae mixes from 12 until 9. And I'm be straight up with you. I used to have coffee and probably some bread and cheese, but Many times I went on autopilot, and like some people be like, "Oh God, this and that." Yo, let me tell you, God got me through a lot of those nights where I ain't know how I'm gonna make it through. Cause yeah, your mind's still going, but your body tired. Okay, your body tired, but you there still moving. You know, you there still moving. And I remember after I got used to it and gave it all to God, and many times you gotta give the glory to God, man. You gotta give it to Jah, cause you'll be thinking that it's all on you, but nah, man. Sometimes you have to just let go and let Jah take control. Some cats live by that saying too. Don't bro me if you don't know me. And it's true, because they think that they can use that, oh bro or sis and this and that, and you just using it for benefits, but you ain't even really using it in real life. I'm your bro today, but tomorrow I'm your enemy. I'm your bro right now, but the next hour you got a problem with me. Nah. If you my bro and you my sister, and bro through thick and thin. I'm not gonna bad talk you. I'm not gonna talk behind your back. If we have a problem, we're gonna handle that problem and mend it out. You know, that's why I tell you, these cowards, I'm talking males and females. You cowards, you always wanna have a problem. And that's to show you a coward, okay? Because real men and women take problems and make solutions, find answers. Adults, if you really want to be technical. But you children would always argue and quarrel. Oh my gosh, he said something about my page. He said something in the comments. He said my sneakers are black. She said my shirt is pink. Yeah. Some reason I was just thinking about Frankie's Sports Shop in East Trenton, bro. No cap. Damn, I heard about that, but I can't even like speak upon it, because like I say sometimes, you know, and many times I don't like to speak upon things that I don't know about. But you could tell me about Frankie's Sports Shop, you know. I like to learn about things that I don't know. I know, well, reading a few saying sports shop, I know it's a sports store, but you could probably in Tremont. I think I just said Trenton in Tremont, bro. No, well, I guess you could tell me about it, you know, because as I say, stuff that I don't know, I would like to always learn about it. The internet is a place where it is a bunch of people saying things that they want to respond to, but they don't want you responding to them. People be looking for recognition and identity in the wrong places. And that's true, you know, like, God help me, Jah help me. I remember a couple of people, you know, said a couple of stuff like probably 2 years ago, and if I didn't change my mindset and my mind state, I'd be in jail right now for some YouTube stuff, you know? Because they probably thought it was a game to play with me, but the thing is, if we play hide and seek, right, and I find something, it's no games, okay? It's no games. So, like, that's why I don't get where these dudes will come on the internet and you think that you could say something about somebody. Everybody is not playing, and I will say this again. I'm not playing with none of these girly boys on this YouTube thing or any internet circuit, you know, because they will say, oh, I don't play in real life. And one thing people gotta realize, and bro, you always say it, it got people that come on YouTube, and it got YouTube people. And real shit, Like, it's so sad that we gotta say, I ain't no YouTube person or I ain't no internet person. That's how childish the world got. That's how low vibration the world got. Where you got adults, you have to tell them to don't act like kids. You serious? It's like when people be like, oh, you got punked out. Those same people feel on top when they post some shit. Face-to-face conversations results in a different outcome. Can't wave the white flag when somebody comes to check the temperature. And trust me, like it get hot in the kitchen, you know? And there ain't nothing cooking on the stove, you know? So like, that's why I can't pay people no attention, because it's like, you don't look for trouble. You know, you don't look for trouble. Why you want to look for trouble for? Because my father used to always say, you look for trouble, trouble gonna surely find you before you find it. And a lot of these so-called adults, they come on this internet and they try to look for trouble. But I'm going to tell people this. You come on the internet and you play games. I don't know how other people would like to warn people, but I'm going to tell you this, because I see many people come on the internet talk about people and you're supposed to be a family man or a family woman, right? How you going to come on the internet and supposed to be a family man and family woman and talking stuff to street people or even talking to regular people disrespectful? What do you think people supposed to do? Go have coffee and donuts with you when they see you? And they ain't never say nothing about you? Because check this out. Somebody that rumbles in the world or the street, they ain't gonna get on the internet and be talking greasy about nobody, okay? Real street people and real people that's in the world, they ain't gonna never get on the internet and be talking greasy. Cause check this out. You fake world people forgot to believe the streets will never get on the internet, okay? Never. Never. I don't care how bad people tell you they are. I don't care how much gangster people tell you they are. Real street people, you would never see them on no camera, no internet, because that's just not their zone. Okay? That's never their zone. And cause let me tell you something, real street people, I hear people talk about, oh, I want to get my story out, or I want to tell a story, or I'm doing content. Real street people ain't got no content, and real street people ain't doing no content, okay? Cause they don't know what that is, okay? And they don't want to ever find out what content is. Cause real street people, your content is what will get them dead or locked up for years. So all you people of talking about you doing street content, right? You ain't nothing but foolish people, because one day your content will catch up to you and it will get you in trouble that you don't want. The talker do just that. The silent one gonna swing. But nowadays throwing hands ain't the first move. Most go to the trunk. No, and like, be honest, like, I keep saying it, man. The gun made humans punks. I don't care, I'm talking about male and female, okay? The gun, G-U-N, made humans punks. Because I remember growing up in the South Bronx, like, and in some of my neighborhoods, I was the shortest and skinniest, you know, but I wasn't scared to fight the big dudes, you know? And it wasn't like you were scared or not scared to get beat up. It's a growing stage. You know, like, it's a growing stage. And if you want to stay on level 1, stay on level 1. No, you're gonna stay on level one. That's just plain and simple. But if you wanna grow, you gonna grow. And it ain't nothing about, oh, I'm bad or none. Nah. Because as I just said, if you think you bad, like my father always said, got somebody in the world gonna show you what's bad. Okay, and that's just how the universe is anyway. That's how God works. That's how natural nature works. Okay, you think you bad, it's gonna be a wall in front of you one day that you cannot knock down. You cannot. Hold on, I'm still here at work. I'm just gonna handle something. Excuse me. You know. Yeah, but for real, cause badness meets badness. And a lot of people, trust me, they ain't bad at all. And I'll give you a little story about Harlem, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. Real story. Real true story of how people talk stuff and act, but you'll see it's all an act. A green screen. Hold on 1 minute, please. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. One of the OGs I talk to out here, always be prepared for your man or bro to put two in you before he do it to your enemy, all because you apologize to him for a misunderstanding. And to be honest with you, this is why I say people need to be taught over, because you can't be from some place and call somebody your brother or sister, right? And you mad at him or her for $20. You mad because he stepped on your shoes. You mad because like I done seen people get beat up for like being short $5 on a person pack. Like, come on, people know this. Being short on $10 on something. You know, like I done seen people, like I done seen some weird stuff in, I will say, this so-called hood life. You feel me? I done seen people dance for weed, crack, like coke, like, and this is the so-called hood. You feel me? This is the so-called people that we call our brothers and sisters, but how do we hurt each other? How do we treat each other? How do we care for each other? I telling people, man, don't tell me we care for each other when it's a dog-eat world, okay? It's a dog-eat world in the hood. Some people, it ain't no love. They gonna love you in your face and smile. But it ain't no love. It ain't no love. It's pure hatred. Because they was taught to, one, walk over the other, okay? Make sure that I'ma eat. Make sure I'm okay. Make sure I shine. Not we shine. Make sure I'm okay. Make sure everything is about me. And never change the M into a W. Leave the E, but change the M into a W and make it we. Fuck. You know? For real, forget that. You know, don't. It's just, and it's crazy, you know, because I watch people talk about, you know, they care for their brother and sister. Like, yo, as I say, man, you can't tell me. You can't tell we nothing. Because it's going to have to get to the point where adults be adults. Adults know what an adult is. If you tell one adult something, an adult is supposed to know that. If you tell somebody something with common sense, they are supposed to know that. Okay? And then it gets to the point where people live. You live, like you live your words, man. I don't know what's up with people of saying things and can't live it. I really don't know what's wrong with that generation. Let me tell you this Brooklyn, Harlem, and Bronx story. Quick one, you know. This is a life learning lesson, and this ain't to make nobody look like a punk, or this ain't to make nobody look tough. Excuse me. Now, I remember when I lived in Bed-Stuy on Madison and Rouse. You know, and somebody that used to be over there, you know, he had a little bit of money. You know, he was G'd up. So I remember me and him, we wasn't friends. We head nod, you know, but it wouldn't be. You know how them people you walk by in the hood every day, y'all ain't friends, y'all ain't enemies, y'all don't speak to each other, but it's just a head nod, you know, or I see me, you know? So, that's what it was every day, you know? Head nod, you know, head up, you know, see ya, this and that. Now, I remember one day, riding uptown on the 2 train, you know? And I see the same person, and the jewelry he used to wear in Brooklyn, I didn't see him wearing it in the Bronx and in Harlem. You know, and I remember telling my boy one day, I was like, yeah, yo, when I seen him up in Harlem and the Bronx, he was like, you know, and saying naked, I mean that he didn't have no jewels on, or as in the hood, when you say naked, you know, like somebody ain't got no you ain't got Storm Chaser with you, you know? So he was naked in the point where he didn't have no jewels, he ain't had no diamonds, he ain't had no chain or nothing, you know? So I'm there telling my boy, I'm like, yeah, yo, he was naked and all that, you feel me? I say everything was just like, regular. I said no pinky ring or nothing, no ring on the left hand or nothing. I said he was naked, bro. He said, word? So I remember my boy telling me, he was like, I know he had money on him, though. I know he had money on him. I said, well, there ain't nobody gonna leave Brooklyn and go all the way uptown and not have no money on him, I said, somebody, whether it's a female too. Hold on 1 minute, please. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but as I told my boy, he was naked, and he was surprised. He was like, yeah, I know you had money on him now. I said, yeah, I knew you had money on him. And my boy was he was aggressive back then, like, yeah, man, you should have get him. I was like, nah, man, nah. I said, but it looked different for him not to have no stuff, no jewels and everything. I said he wasn't the big time Brooklyn dude. So I remember years later thinking, I'm like, yo, like, see, sometimes when you think with an ignorant mind, right, you don't see things fall through. Now, I was thinking young. I was like, yeah, yo, he was a punk, like, he ain't go uptown with his shoes on and all that. And to be honest with you, he had cars, but he was taking the train, okay? And I remember thinking about it after. I was like, yo, you know what? All jokes aside, and you had this on your page the other day, brother, when you was talking about, I think it was like last week, when you was talking about, I'd rather be paranoid than stupid, And that's what it was, okay? He knew that he was who he was, and he wasn't going to put himself in a predicament where, I will say, not that he didn't know he could get himself out of, but he used something of, he'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm not saying that he didn't know uptown, but it was a Brooklyn person going into uptown, but he'd rather be safe than sorry, and that's in life. Don't think that you mad and nothing can happen to you. No. Anything could happen to anybody. Anybody in this world could be touched. Okay? Like, once somebody could touch your hand with their pinky, it's plain and simple. Anybody could be touched, okay? No human is untouchable. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much religion you got. I don't care how much fame you think you got. Any human in this world could be touched. And trust me, when you rich, you have a good day, OG. And when you rich or wealthy or however you say, trust me, the purse is even bigger, okay? It's even bigger. So, richness don't matter of you being touched by a human or even anybody, okay? Because when Jah call your number, trust me, it don't matter if you want to pick up the phone or not. He gonna answer it for you. Okay? A lot of people will say, because I used to hear a lot of people say, oh, yeah, if God called me home, I ain't gonna pick up the phone. It don't matter about you not picking up the phone. Because when it's your time, it's your time. Okay? It ain't no, like, sorry. Some people get offended when I say this, but it ain't no prayers could save you. It ain't no healing or none of that could save you. When God ready to call you home, that's it. You going home. Okay? When your time is up, your time is up. Okay? When, like, cause some people think that they could get extra time. Like, nah, you just here for this amount.